everyone. All right, I want to take a moment to step back and talk about a couple things that I think I want to clear up. All right, so the first thing that I want to say is that if any of my prepping videos have made you feel anxious, fearful, scared, worried, etc., nervous, anything like the reset is breathing down our necks and right around the corner and it's going to happen next month, I am so sorry if I have put anybody in that mindset. That was never the intention, of course. I thought, as a disclaimer, saying that I had a day where I was kind of like, that would kind of communicate, but it doesn't always, sometimes these things don't communicate very well. So when I had heard Frederick's last video where he's talking about that was a wake up call for me. That was a kick in the butt for me personally, because while I had picked up a few things months ago, I hadn't really been giving it much thought, because at that time, that was before March, and now I'm like in the thick of a different aspect of my life. So I was like, but that literally lasted me one day because I started to pull myself out of it. And purchasing things was a huge help because that was one thing that I could now check off my list for every little thing that I picked up. And it was telling my brain, okay, you're getting it together. You're getting things together. You're planning, you're preparing, you're going to be prepared when the time comes. And that's really it. I'm also a content creator. I make content all day long, every day I'm making content on TikTok, on YouTube, wherever. And so part of my videos were, hey, this is the kind of things I'm buying. Maybe you pick them up too, but also kind of documenting my life as a source player and as I'm figuring these things out. So it's part content creation, but also part helping, but never to make you feel panicked, worried, fearful, and anxious, or any of those things, because that should never be the intention. But I can understand how I may not come across that way. So, again, if I made you feel some kind of way to be afraid and this stuff is coming, I'm sorry again, okay? And I say that because if you had asked me a week ago, why am I choosing to make all of my videos only for supporters only? Well, there's a few reasons, but the quick and dirty reason was that whatever that exchange was that I had with that other source player. Now, whether I'm responsible for the negative energy that was there or not, right? I will take responsibility if it was me that made it negative. And in doing so, okay, all right, it wasn't supposed to go that way, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? So I see patterns. I have pattern recognition, and I can see how things are gonna come out, what the outcome of certain things are gonna be. I just have that ability to see down the road. Okay, if this continues to go this way, it's only gonna end one way with any kind of choice. Like this is what the road is gonna bring. Okay, so in that moment, when I started to sense the negativity that, like I said, either I created or they created, said, that's it. Okay, I am not going to participate any further. So as the mature adult in the equation, I said, okay, that's it. I'm not giving my energy to this, and I'm shutting it down. So because it was going to become a tit for tat, I could see it. It was starting to happen. So I said, that's it. I'm no longer participating. And in that moment, my intuition, and that girl, she is never wrong, this intuition of mine, said, you know what? Let's just no longer put all our energy out there. Let's not have our energy dangling out there anymore. Let's just rein it in. and keep it for the people who have supported me through this entire endeavor, right? That's really it. Because there are people who are just not getting it, or whatever XYZ reason that they are not contributing to an energy exchange. Don't care. But I wasn't going to leave my energy out there anymore. That was it. So then I made that video, I made the post today about, anybody who's not supporting me, if you come to the coffee platform and you try to follow me, I'm going to block. So that's for people that are not supporting. I see them, they follow me, I get a notification, and I go, okay, block, because they're not supporting. It's very simple. If they can come and seek me out over here, and they find me, and they don't read anything that I have written in the about information as far as what this particular site is about, and they don't contribute, they don't get to see any of the updates that, I'm sure they can see it if they're not signed in. They could see what my post titles are, but I don't know what they think they're going to accomplish by following me. Nevertheless, I'm very serious about my boundary. Those people who do not support me, they're getting nothing. They're getting nothing. And that's just how it is. Obviously, I have people here who contribute, you all, okay? You all contribute in one way or another, whether you've contributed, with comments, whether you've messaged me, whatever the case may be, and of course supported the energy. We resonate, whatever the case. You get me, you get what I'm trying to do, which truly I appreciate, okay? Because I have formed friendships here. I have formed some friendships, and that's a very nice thing, because this is an isolated game. And as source players, we don't have people who can relate to us other than other source players who know what's going on. So that's that. So, yeah, so that's really it. And the irony of me doing that last week is not lost when I see today that Ricardo put out a big post about how he's not going to be making content anymore. And I can understand, because he's focusing on himself, right? He wants to focus on himself, and he had a full recognition of where he kind of got lost. And I think that's that's growth and progress when you can see that in yourself. And that's literally everything. That's another thing, just to go back on the whole thing, why I decided to shut that whole negative engagement down is because, do you know how many times a day I have NPCs trying to get in a tit for tat with me, and we do this, and I'm recognizing this in myself more and more now as far as catching myself. So I'm trying, first of all, I'm definitely reining it in with NPCs, trying to very much, but to do it with a source player is just stupid, right? So I'm not going to do it in any way, shape, or form with a source player. I'm just going to not participate anymore. So that non-participation can make people a little nutty. Whatever, I don't care. It just is what it is. It's okay, cut it off. Now, back to what I was saying. So you see Ricardo's post, because I know a lot of you guys support him as well. And I had just started supporting him this month. So whatever. But he said that he's not going to be making content anymore, and he's going to be shutting down his Patreon. So, you know what I'm saying? People are kind of getting this sense, this intuition, okay, let's kind of rein it in, or whatever the case may be. This is not every source player, obviously, not everyone, but the timing is interesting. This is still not, I'm not really saying anything other than that, okay? It's just, it's for me recognizing that my intuition was saying, yeah, Nicole, let's kind of tighten it up a little bit. And that's really it. Because, and Michelle also posted on her Patreon about some stuff today too, that echoed what Ricardo was saying, not about her stopping making content or anything like that, but he had mentioned that he doesn't know when the reset's going to happen. And I'm pretty sure I don't know if Frederick has said, I know people have asked him, and that's fine. I've asked him a question. I didn't ask him when it was going to happen. I just wanted to know, you know, I had other pressing issues. But Michelle and Ricardo kind of mentioned the same thing about they were never given like knowing of when the reset. They haven't been given any knowing as far as when the reset's going to happen. So that should tell you something, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you, I have 1,000% confidence and faith that when that time arrives, we're going to know. We are going to know. So if there are any source players getting a little frantic and they're scrambling, trying to figure out these things, and they're asking source players, you know, when is this going to happen? And they don't know. Well, obviously, if they knew, they would let us know. Okay? If they knew, they'd let us know. And if their source self were guiding them to tell us, they would tell us. But I still think no matter what, we're going to know. We're going to know. And this is just, you know, something that you, I, and any other source player should be, you know, only be focusing on the important things. If you take any direction from Frederick and Michelle and Quartz Crystal and Judy and any source player, is that we have to figure out how to be happy and how to be here and now. That's it. Try to, as much as you can, to be here and now and to be in joy and do your best. Because that's going to ultimately help you. That's going to help you. Regardless of like where your frequency is what is my point. But that's actually going to help with your frequency. That, you know, that's the other thing. He's putting in a lot of work. You can see that, right? So that's really it. And so I'm taking a little bit of direction from his topics in that, like, I want to focus on some fun kind of inspirational, like I put out this music tonight. That was a quick, cute song. I really like that song. I have another one. It's a different genre, but it's coming out. Just want to kind of like focus on that and focus on the hypnosis stuff. And really, you know, if I get a good script and I get it written and I get it recorded, is it going to be beneficial for you guys as well? Of course, I'm going to share it. That's really, you know, what I want to do, because part of the whole reason why I took the time off that I did was to work on the mind. You know, it's a mental health break for many reasons, many facets, right? And this is part of it. Part of it was also to kind of just give my brain that break of, I don't have to sign into this job every day. And I could kind of also lay the groundwork to create another source of income for myself where I don't have to go out and run Uber deliveries every day, you know, because I want to eventually do away with that. So I'm trying to lay groundwork for something else. But, you know, with limited bandwidth, you only can do so much. But that's really it. You know, I'm trying to get myself in a state of joy, where I'm in a state of joy mostly every day. That's really it. Where I'm enjoying the unenjoyable. To be a cliche, to be, you know, quoting my own song here. Okay, that's really it. But that's the truth. That's the truth. I set this. I kept like having. I needed this. I needed this, and there was a reason I needed this. So this is all preparation, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna happen next week or next month. But it does mean get your ducks in a row. Get all your stuff out of the way now. Get it out of the way now, because then there's nothing left unturned, and you will have everything that you need. Okay? So that's really it. And just, you know, to say sorry if I inadvertently made anybody worry. Okay? All right. Bye.